So now let us move ahead and take a look at what is a variable and how to use them in DAX. So learning how to use variables is extremely important because adding more variables to your code makes it a lot easier to understand your coding logic, and it is very much helpful at the time of debugging your code, okay, quickly. What is a variable? First of all, variables are used with most programming languages. It is not specific to Power BI, okay, or it is not specific to DAX, okay. You might have heard about the variables in as part of M language, right? In Power Query Editor, I discussed about variables, okay. And so even in DAX, we can use variables. And even any program, you take any programming language in this world, variables, variables are there, okay. So okay, now let us understand what is the syntax for the variable. So you need to specify this keyword before you start creating your variable. Only then the Power BI can understand. For example, your name of your variable. So the variable name must begin with the letters A to Z or capital A to Z. The only other supported characters within variable names are the character 09. So for example, your variable name is total sales 09, right? Or week 04, week 4 sales. Okay, you can use the numeric value along with the text, but the variable name must begin with the letters. Okay, and the existing table name and certain keywords are not permitted as variable names. Let's say you have already created a table name, right? You cannot use the same table name as your variable name. And also you cannot use certain keywords. Okay, what are the keywords? Can someone tell me what are the keywords? Right, the keywords are not permitted as variable name. So you have something called all function, all. Okay, if you're not supposed to allow all here. The key for words, right? The reserved words or the commands, you cannot use it. So now the question is, why do we need to use variables? Variables, the variables are helpful to store the result of an expression. You can give a name for an expression. That name can be used later as an argument for the other operation inside the measures. So in that kind of situation, it is very much helpful. Okay, then you can give a name to your expression. Okay. To store the result of an expression, the variables are very much helpful, so that you can reuse the expression's value later point in time in the which you stored in a variable. Okay, the idea of using variable is readability of the code. It will improve the readability of the code, and it reduces the size of your code, and the debugging is pretty simple. Okay, you can go to the specific point and you can fix it. Okay, and then the performance is very good, right? So when you use variables in that kind of situation, this is very much able. Using variables in calculated columns, you can use variables in calculated column and calculated measure. I'll just jump into the Power BI desktop and I'll show you how to create a variable, simple variable, how to create it, and we'll get started with creating a variable. For example, here I'm going to right click on it and rename it as variables. So how to create a measure? I think all of you might have watched my previous videos, right? Previous session videos. And now, anyhow, at the end of today's session, we will have a Q&A session. I'll ask questions. Let me see how many of you watched this session. So let us get started with creating the variable. Look here, how do I create a measure? I'm going to click on the modeling ribbon, and here you have the measure. I'm going to give you a demo. Okay, I just create the thing here, and here it'll take some time. Click on the modeling ribbon and click on the new measure. We'll start with a simple one. Variable example 1 is equivalent to okay, what I will do is to start with that. What is the syntax? Var. You need to prefix with var, and here I just say variable 1 is equivalent to 2. And then what is the other thing? Return, right? You need to use return. The variable 1, you need to return variable. That's all. Press enter. I think there is an error here. So let us see what is that error. Error in the sense, the underline, this, return is incorrect. And okay, what I am going to do is I'm going to put this one in the same line. So here variable 1 is also, it's not good. Let's, I'm going to say A1. I'm going to return A1. And still it shows A1 is a problem. Okay. Okay, we'll start with the simple variable. A1 equal to 2. Okay, and I just simply say A1 equal to 2. This is one simple variable. We can use this way, the measure. This is a simple variable. Okay, I just click on the chord visual. And here I say A1 variable. So what value is stored in A1? 2, right? I'm going to click on the empty space here. You got, and then I just click on this calculator next to A1. A1 equal to 2. So the variable name is A1 here. Okay. And next one is I'm going to copy the same thing. I'm going to create another variable. I'm going to click on cross modeling new measure. I'm going to say, let's say A2 colon is equivalent to, you need to start like this. Okay. You cannot directly specify that variable. Let's A1 is equivalent to 2 and return A1 into 2, something like that. I'm going to press enter. Either you can press enter or you can click on the tick mark. We are using a measure to demonstrate how to define a variable. Okay, so we are done with this. That is A2, isn't it? I'm going to click on the chord visual and I just put it here. And here I just say A2 and 4. So if I click on this, so A1 is equivalent to 2 and return A1 into 2. What is A1? A1 is 2. 2 into 2 is 4. So now the variable A2 will hold the value 4 here. The value 4 it will have, or else. So how can I create multiple variables? So can I create multiple variables? Yes, you can create multiple variables also. A2 is equivalent to A1 into 2. And then I'm going to say A2 now. It should give you the same output, isn't it? Okay, sorry, here I mentioned 1 here instead of 2. Okay, so I'm going to click on the commit, the tick mark. If I do this, this one will get executed. In case of any error, it will throw an error here. Okay, here you can specify A2 colon equal to also, you can use it. And let me see if that one works here. Either you can use A or, so in this case, what will happen is, see, initially we mentioned something A2 on the right side of the equal sign. I have defined the two variables, right? A1 equal to 2, A2 equal to A1. A1 already we assigned the value 2. 2 into 2 is 4. This one gets stored here. ultimately I want to return the value. Okay. In the sense, right, print the value here, 4. So this is another. So now we have used how to create, we have used more than one variable in terms of creating. So the next one is variable can be assigned once and it cannot be reassigned. This is the one you need to remember it. Okay. So I just click on cross and I'm going to create a new variable, a new measure. For example, variable A3, sorry, A3 is equivalent to var, let's say A3 is equivalent to 2 and press enter. And next one is I'm going to use again var, and here A3 is equivalent to A3 plus 2. Return. Yes, Sushmita, you are correct, right? Okay, Sushmita's question is, how do I come to the next line? You need to hold the Alt key and press enter. Okay, Alt key and press enter. Oh, yeah, practicing it side by side. Okay, okay, you do that. That's actually good. So A3, and if I put here, if I press enter, in this case, what happened? I'm reassigning a value to the same variable. Okay, it is working fine. Okay, so in this case, A3 plus 2. Look here, variable A3 cannot be created because table or variable with the same name already exist. Variables can be assigned only once. You cannot reassign the value to the variable. So A3 is a variable. I defined it and assigned a value to it. Again, you are trying to assign some other value. It is not allowing you. So right, you can define a variable and I can assign a value, but again, you cannot reassign it. This is the point you need to remember it. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is the one you need to remember it. In this case, it is not going to work. And here what I do is here I just say 5 plus 2 and click on the tick mark. Let us see what happens. Again, I'm reassigning the value, right? Again, I'm reassigning the value to this one. It is not going to work. If I remove this, it will work now. It will work. Click on the tick mark. Variable A3 cannot be created. Once you create a variable, you cannot reassign any value to that variable. You need to remember this rule also. What is the rule? You will have to use var keyword before you define any variable. Okay, we did that already. We have used var, and to return the value stored in your variable, right? So you need to use a return keyword. The var should followed by return. You can also have multiple variables. You can define multiple variables, but don't try to assign a value, reassign a value to a variable, which means, I assign this in this line. Again, the next line, if you put A3 equal to 5 plus 2, it will not work. Variables cannot be reassigned. So what is return? Return is a keyword. It is used to return the value of any variable in the current scope, right? This is very much helpful when you are debugging calculation with multiple variables. Okay, it does not have to return the last variable in the series. That also you need to remember. For example, and here I just say var A2 is, or A4 is equivalent to A3. Now you can use A3 into 2. Okay, and that one you used it. And now var A5 is equivalent to A4, you can use it. Yeah, A5 is a new variable, then you can assign it. But here I'm going to use A4. Is it work? The return statement need not to return the last variable in the series. Here, what is the last variable? A5, right? Need not to be A5. It can be A4 also. You can return A4 also. So what is the output here? So A3 is your 2. 2 into 2 is 4. That 4 only will be returned, right? This line only be returned here. If you want to return A5, that is also possible. And click on tick mark, because we did not reassign anything to anything for the same thing. Remember all these conditions, okay? To close a declared variable scope, we need to use a return statement. Now I'm going to use a new term to close a declared variable scope. So now all the variables we define, I'm not going to define any more variables. In that kind of situation, you need to close all these declared variable with a return statement. Once you create a return statement, followed by that, you cannot use var. Rule number 1. Rule number 2 is you can declare multiple variables like A3, A4, A5 with the same layer of a scope and a single return statement. The third rule is variable can be assigned once and cannot be reassigned. Got it? Okay, now variable 1, variable 2, everything is fine, but how do I use it in real-time scenario? How can I use it in real-time scenario? That is what the question from Sushmita. Okay, I will explain you now with an example. Now I just click on the modeling ribbon. Look here on the right side, I'm going to click on the cross so that I can see all the tables that are available in this one. Fact sales is available, sales W04 is not available. In this case, I'm going to use the same thing here. I'm going to click on the modeling rib and I want to click on the new measure. Let's say your management wants to view the average revenue. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say total revenue is equivalent to sum of sales amount, right? Sum of sales amount. And then hold the Alt key and press enter. The next line var here the calendar is there. Let us see how many number of days. So number of months. So basically we are trying to find out the total revenue and the number of distinct months. Okay. So this is the one will help you to find out the average, right? See, how do you find out average? Let's say you have 3 months data are there. If you add all the 3 months day, the value sales amount, and then if you divide by 3, that gives you the average for the 3 months, right? 3 months average sales, that one. So here in the denominator, to put the number of months, right? First of all, we need to find out how many months were there in my data set. Distinct count is the one is helpful to give me the unique values in the month column. Let me see if I have month column. Yes, month is there. And return. So we have the numerator value, the total revenue. The denominator value is number of months. Both we have numerator and denominator values are available. We computed already. And next one is divide. There is a divide function. It is a DAX function, total revenue, comma, number of months, and press enter. I think there is an error here mode. Okay, this during parsing month return divide number of months, the calendar. Okay, here look here, there is a syntax here. Square bracket is missing, isn't it? Square bracket is missing. Now I'm going to click on the tick mark to compile this one. And here also there is some, red color thing is there. I think we have some additional bracket, parenthesis, remove it, and then execute it. Here, I think now it is working fine. And this is average revenue. You understood? So here, what we did, on the right side of the equation, sum of the sales amount. Total sales we have sum divided by the number of months. Let's say you have 12 months data are there. The total sales for the 12 months divided by 12, if you do it here, it gives you the average sales, average revenue or something like that. So in this case, the right-hand side expression, right-hand side of your equal sign is your expression. We have given some name to this expression with meaningful name, total revenue. And if somebody non-technical people, when they see this one, do you think they can understand? Hello, can someone respond? Or all of you please respond here. If you are non-technical person, when he looks at this, will you be able to understand? Nothing, right? So this is an expression, okay. But on the left side, when they see it, oh, this is a total revenue, this for number of months. On the right side, one will give you the number of months. Okay, divide. So total revenue. Now, see, instead of using the expression, so the alternatively, I could have used sum of sales amount, comma, distinct count calendar month. I would have used it, isn't it? So now we have given some name to this, right side expression on the left side. With that, if you do a total revenue to a number of months, if anybody, when they look at it, they will be able to understand quickly what logic has been used in this one. And it gives you more readability. This is called readability, right? It gives you the readability. You can understand even later point in time when you when you use the average amount. What was the name I gave it? Average revenue. Yeah, average revenue. This is the part. I just drop it here. See, the average revenue is 41.47K. Okay, the other Deepa's question is, can't we use average function? Yes, we can use average function also. But in the case of average function, what will happen? See, here the requirement is slightly different. When you use average on sales amount, it gives you the average. Okay, that is possible. But how many number of months? For example, in your slicer, let's say you are going to use a slicer. Look here. I'll just put a slicer here. 2 to 12 months. Okay, I just drag this to 12 months revenue it shows. Okay, supposing if I slide this towards the left side, 1 to 8 months, last 8 months, what the sales, you can see it here. Okay, that is how it is helpful. 1 second, average. Your question is this one, right? Average. 1 second. Average AVG revenue. Look here, your question is, why should I use this many steps? Can't I use average? There is an average function is available. Can't we use average? Yes, you can use average. In that case, what will happen is so you are taken average on how many number of months? How do we know that? Right? What was that? Oh, your question is okay, average along with slicer. Okay, fine. We will compare that one also. Okay, since you asked that one. So this is the one average revenue. Okay, I'm going to copy paste this one. Her question is, Deepa's question is here, the average revenue you have used this many number of lines. Can't we use a single line average here? Yes. So to answer to that, I will show you the difference. Average revenue. Where is the average revenue? Yeah, I'm going to select this one. I'm going to copy and paste a new measure. Modeling. Okay, I'm going to click on the new measure. See, in that case, it may work. Okay, but if you want to do, include additional steps in deriving the average revenue or something like that, then it is challenging, isn't it? look here, the new measure. So here it gives me the average for everything. Look here, if I specify 12. In this case, if you go here, month is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, 1 second. So what I will use instead of this, we will use 6-month revenue. The number of months 6, right? It gives you this. Supposing, okay, I will give you this example. Supposing you want to see the overall, all the transaction put together, what is the average revenue? Okay. So in that kind of situation, 1 second, what is the average revenue one? Here, what we will do is calculate function. I'm going to use calculate function. Yes, I'll explain you now. Okay, and all and fact sales. Anyhow, we are going to look at the calculate little later. Don't worry. So now what happened? The calculate, it will not change. Okay, and if I change it now, this one remains constant. You want to see last 6 months average revenue vis-a-vis with your the total average revenue. Okay, for all the transaction put, what is the average, overall average, and then last 6-month average, so that you can compare side by side here. So for the 6 month, this is the average revenue, and for all the months put together, what is the average revenue? That is what, in that kind of situation, the average is helpful. Average is helpful when you use it inside the calculate function. You know, such kind of scenario, you can use it all function. The all function will remove all the filters. Okay, now with this example, you have understood how to create a variable, everything. In this one, I have demonstrated the divide function. We have created two multiple variables, more than one variable. And then I have assigned the, on the right side of the equation, you can find the expression. And then what I did, I just computed the total revenue and computed the total number of months. If I divide the total revenue by the number of months, it gives me the average, average revenue by month, right? So that is the one it gives us here. So now the variable, to summarize, variables are crucial to any programming languages. The variables are helpful in terms of storing the intermediate results or calculations that can be reused in your in the DAX experience. See here, the variable once I create, I can reuse it here. The number of months also, I was able to reuse it. So now you have some kind of readability, reusability is there. So these are the advantages of creating, and also you can store the values temporarily in some variable, and then you can reuse it later point in time, right? You can break the complex logic into simple logic using variables. Okay. And let's see if somebody is asking what is the last year revenue. How can you find out last year revenue? How can you find out last year revenue using variables? For example, I just select this one. In the test, right, the questions will be coming around the variables also. Hence, please concentrate here and then practice it every day. And then here the Last year revenue. Okay, her question. One second. Deepa, before I start that, don't ask me questions. First let me finish. We want to find out last year sales. Your question is, okay, we have some predefined function available already. Same period last year. Why should I find out the last year? Same period last year will give you the last year sales. You can use that. But is there any other alternative other than same period? Yes, in that kind of situation, you can use that. Good that you watched all my video, right? Very good. Yeah, it should be like this so that you can get it clarified, all your doubts. Interview and from the real time project, when you're not supposed to get stuck. But during the code walkthrough, they will ask you why you use this one. Sorry, I pressed enter mistakenly. So I'm going to use a calculate function here. In the next line, how do I go to the next line? Hold your Alt key, Alt key and press enter. And here I'm going to say sum of sales. I think instead of using sum of sales, I already used total sales M1. This is the measure, which is nothing but the sum of sales amount. You can use a measure inside another measure. And then here the year function of your what is that? You have some year column, right? Okay, year order date is there. Okay, and here I'm going to say last year. If I move up here, last year revenue. Okay, year today -1. What is it? Today's date? Today is 21/7/23. Okay, and it goes from current year to previous year. So which means 2022. The year 2022, what this is, that is what we are seeing in the calculate functions. What happens? The first argument are measure sum of sales amount, and the second one is year of the fact sales order date is equivalent to the last year. But here two few calculate function, the minimum argument count to the function is it is correct. Okay, here you are supposed to, oh yeah, one more parenthesis required. Here is a function, right? Hence we need to close it, and calculate is here the year. This is for year, and this is the calculate function. It's correct only. Okay, and why it is giving error? Press enter. Now it went off. Okay, got it. So year is a function, and start with open parenthesis, end with another parenthesis, closed parenthesis, is equivalent to this one will give you the year, and then you compare the year with the previous year. In my data set, see, we know what is today's date, right? Today function will return the today's date. Today's date is what? 21/7/2023 minus 1 means it will go 1 year back, which means 2022 same day. Okay, but here what we are doing is total sales. We are doing sum of sales, and here last year, this one will hold the previous year only, the 2022. The 2022 year, you compute the total sales and then give me that. When I press this one, last year revenue, this is a measure name. I'm going to click on code visual, and then I'm going to say last year revenue. I just drag and drop this one here. Sorry. Blank. It shows last year revenue, nothing, because 2022, we need to check, do we have any sales or no sales happened or not? So here 2021 is there, and 2022 is there, but 2022 is available, but it is not picking up that, right? So what I'll do is I just go back here and then I click on it, and then let us see if this one gives me the year or not correctly. I just go here and I'm going to select here itself in the date table itself. I'm going to create a new column. This is for our testing purpose. It gives me year. Correctly, it gives me the year, right? Correct. And what is the problem with last year? Last year is it gives me blank. The year today -1. So we need to display last year. So what I'm going to do is, for the time being, I'm going to remove this and I'm going to say last year. Press enter. Let us see first what value gets stored here. 2022. It's correct. It shows correct only, right? So 22, 2020. Then why it is not giving the totals? That is the next question now. Okay, let me just last year revenue. If you click on it, okay. Let me do one thing. Last year revenue. I just click on this. It shows 20. No, this one is holding 22 as per this one. Today is 23, right? Year. I'm talking about this year. Current year is 2023. And what I'll do is calculate function. The total sales is sum of sales. Okay, let us check the total sales M1. Up to this, it is correct. The logic is correct. This one is supposed to give me the total sales for 2021. Okay, it got executed. Okay, and your last year revenue, it shows nothing here. Okay, and still blank is coming here. And okay. The same variable name. If you have used some wrong name also, it will not work. Yes, Deepa, I'm trying that one. Average last year revenue. Okay, last year revenue. And this is the variable. I just copy pasted it here. Correct. It's correct only. Year of 2022 is equal to 2022. It should give something like that. Okay, I just last year revenue. This is another way of checking it out. Okay, the last year revenue, and instead of this, I will use the table visual and see what is the problem. Nothing is coming here. Okay, there is something wrong here. This one, yeah, here I have used the slicer here, right? That might also cause problem. Here I have used the 12, all the 1 to 12, but still it is not showing the correct. Now it is showing correctly. Look here. Here I have applied the filter, right? Slicer. For the 1 to 6 month, there is no sales for 2021. That is the reason why it was not showing it. Make sure that when you test your measures output, does that affected by the slicer also? Yes, look here. It is showing here and there. One to 6, 1 to 5, nothing is there. Okay, no sales. Then 1 to 7 and then once you slide it, you need to wait for some time. I think 2 to 12 months only some sale is there. Yeah, 2 to 10 months sales was there. Okay, 2 to 12 also is fine. Okay, so now you understood with these things, right? How you can create a variable, what is a variable, and what are the advantages of variables, and how to create a variable, and how to create multiple variables, and how the variable, what is the variable scope, you understood, right? So we are done with variables. Okay.